Hi, my name is Cydni WIlliams. I am so happy to be here. I'm a MBA student in my last semester at Harvard Business School, and most recently I interned at Andreesen Horowitz, which invested in HANDSHAKE. And so I've been surveying the portfolio companies for some time, and this project is so interesting. I've been involved in the auction process by way of Namebase for about 3 weeks now. And to be honest, that first week, I lost every single bid I made. And so I went into analysis mode. And today I'll be sharing my top 5 takeaways from my first 2 weeks using Namebase. I'm hopeful that these tips will help grow the community. And so let's get started. And so tip number 1 is, to understand the auction process. I'm a millennial, and so reading directions goes against a lot of what I believe in. However, reading this particular section was super helpful for me in understanding the auction process and really getting into what that means as I go through the process. I'd be honest, my first week, I did not read this. I highly recommend going through it. The team has done an amazing job at making this just as helpful and straightforward as possible. So I think reading this first things first from the FAQs will make a huge difference and really lay the foundation for exactly what to expect when getting into Namebase and investing in TLDs. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you have enough HNS in your account to cover your bid amount and your added blind amount, because those amounts in total will be locked up. And so what I didn't realize is that that lockup period could be 5 days or so. And so I was super bullish. I maybe, bid on 3 or 4 different TLDs. And I quickly learned that I didn't have enough left to bid on that last TLD because the majority of my funds were locked up. And so I think understanding the lockup period and having enough HNS in the account and budgeting for yourself and what's most important and what you're willing to bid the most on is super helpful, because things can get competitive when others notice that you might have an interesting TLD that you're bidding on. And that leads me to the 3rd tip, which is to stay on top of your TLDs. Snipe bidding is real and it's a challenge. For example, there's the ending soon section, which anyone could really just hop into ending soon, see that something ends in 20 minutes or so. They can come in here and they can pretty much outbid you on something that you may have truly wanted, or a bid process you might have even initiated. And so it's really important to understand that you may need to put in a buffer amount of HNS so you can continue to compete through the entire period that the bidding process will take place, which could be 5 again to 7. And tip number 4 is related to this, and it's a bit of a tricky one, but I'd say that knowing the difference between what sent means and what mined means. And so when you put in your bid, there is a mining period that you have to be conscious of, and it's very likely that you could put in a bid and it might not get mined, which means that it won't be considered in the overall process and the bid history. So for example, if there is a 20-minute mining period and an auction closes in 10 minutes, your bid will likely not be considered. It'll be sent, but it won't be mined. And so here you can see that these were mined and are considered in the process, and this one is not, especially if the auction is going to end soon. There might not be enough time for it to be mined and therefore considered. And so I thought I was cool bidding at the last minute, but I didn't realize that that mining period might not have been long enough. Tip number 5 is to just get started, get yourself involved, put yourself out there, and get involved with the community and start bidding to see, what your personal strategy is, and if there is an opportunity to own your name in your own space in the digital world and online. I definitely want to continue to immerse myself in the community, so anyone can always reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to chat and support. Thanks so much to Stephen and Mike for providing this opportunity, and Johnny for facilitating. Thanks.